What's up, folks? It is Zephyr, and I'm back from a long extended hiatus, much greater than I expected due to a certain game that came out. And yeah, I'm a little ashamed. Anyway, Marsback reached out to me and they wanted to show off the Zephyr Pro. It is their newest mouse. If you remember, I reviewed the first one back in March, and that came out last year in 2020. And I think it definitely garnered some attention because it had a fan built into it. But outside of that, it kind of fell to the wayside. Well, I think they do want to change that a little bit with the Zephyr Pro. And so they did send this out to me for review. And of course, that will not change my opinion or alter anything about this review. And at the end of it, if you end up deciding you want to pick one up yourself, use code J only and it'll take $10 off your order. I get no kickback. I decided not to sign up for any affiliate program on this. I'm just here to guide you in the right direction and save you some money if you're interested. But without further ado, let's get into it. Arriving in a super slick presentation of a box, the Zephyr Pro is going to come in at $69 USD, which is a lot cheaper than the first one that came out last year at $99. Not only is this new installment much more affordable, but looking at the shape, you can see it's drastically toned down from the original. And that's one thing that actually took me by surprise that I didn't particularly like. The one thing I did like about the original one was just how crazy it was. It was perfect for claw gripping, but it definitely did have an appearance that scared a lot of folks away because it was, I guess you could say, very gamery. But with the new Zephyr Pro, they kind of went with a safer route of a shape that's very reminiscent to the G Pro Wireless or the G Wolf's Hottie M, which is just really a clone of the G Pro Wireless. So, we went with a shape that is going to work better for a wider audience, and I'm sure it's probably a little bit more affordable too, since this shape can be almost classified as OEM at this point with so many clones out there. I guess if I had to choose on this particular mouse what it's really going to be a derivative of, it's going to be that G Pro wireless shape as I mentioned, but it kind of has the buttons of the Zowie FK, as it does have some finger grooves to it. As I mentioned with the original, I really could only go with a claw grip or a fingertip. You really could not palm it because of the lip at the front, which was pretty unique to a mouse like this, and that really limited the audience. So gone is the old one, and with the new one on that shape, you can go with a palm, you can go with a fingertip or a claw, and I felt comfortable in either one. My preference with a hand size of 19 by 10 centimeters is definitely going to be claw, and I had no issues with the side button positioning in either grip, as it would in a really neutral position, especially with the sensor, and that allowed me to be pretty versatile with the shape, unlike the original. And I will mention the side buttons are, I would say, much better as they've been also toned down, but they're still very defined off the body, so you're not going to mistake where they're located. As far as my game time and how I implemented the Zephyr Pro into my daily gaming cycle, I did use it a lot for the Burning Crusade Classic because that's, again, what I've been obsessing over for the past 2 months. So for the past week, I've been using it on this, and it's actually worked really great for raids because raid nights can get pretty sweaty in a long 4-hour period. So I did benefit greatly from this. As far as actually using it for shooters, I don't use the G Pro wireless or the Superlight as my main for, say, like Valorant or anything like that. So I didn't really get too accustomed to it in shooters, but I can definitely see if you're someone that does love this shape, it's probably going to benefit you, especially at that incredibly low price and you're looking for another option outside of that expensive G Pro wireless realm. And to touch briefly on the switches and the sensor, they actually brought back everything from the original Zephyr right down to the paracorded cable. The cable is super lightweight, very flexible, it has very minimal memory within the installation. I'm glad they brought that back. When it comes to the switches, we're looking at the extremely boring Omron 50 million click switches. It lacks personality, it lacks individualism, it just lacks everything. Now granted, they are light and crisp, they're not necessarily anything wrong with them, but in this day and age, with so many options of switches out there, I don't know why they would just stick with white bread when making a sandwich. Underneath the mouse, wedged between the RGB light button as well as the fan button, is going to be the 3389 sensor. Nothing to say about it at this point. It's a proven sensor from budget-friendly mice all the way to your top end. And the star of the show is going to be the fan inside the Zephyr Pro. It is a much needed improved fan compared to the original one that was prone to excessive vibrating, and it was just way too powerful of a fan. It wasn't needed. We just needed something subtle with a very light breeze, and that's what we got with this fan. So by them turning it down on the RPM, it actually improved the fan greatly, and it's awesome to see that they took that feedback seriously and implemented it in the Zephyr Pro. On the bottom, because the software does not allow you to customize the fan, you do have a button here. So you simply press that and you can turn the fan on into different RPM. And if you don't want it on one day, that's fine. Hold it down for 3 seconds and you can turn that fan right off. In the end, I feel like the Zephyr Pro is a lot more of an improvement over the original, but for me personally, I think it's a little bit of a step back because, well, I feel like the shape on the original one was really exciting and it was unique, and I loved it for claw grip, but I understand that for a wider audience, it's definitely going to be a little extreme. So they went on a safer bet with this shape, and I'm sure it'll pay off for them because not only is the shape more custom for any grip style, but it's also only coming in at $69. And hey, if you enjoyed the video, please hit a thumbs up on it, and if you think you're going to grab one, leave a comment below, and of course hit that subscription button, as I do appreciate that. Until next time, you guys stay safe.